Hi guys, and welcome back to Bread Box Racing in 4x4. Today we're going to show you how to delete the carpet out of your vehicle and replace it with a bedliner, or a rocker guard in this case. Along the way we're going to show you the easy way to remove sound deadening from a vehicle, as well as just all the steps involved in doing it. Okay guys, so what you're going to need is tools to remove all your interior trim. I also highly recommend using sandwich bags to store all the bolts and bits, and you can label them, or you can try and remember. That doesn't work well for me. Next, you're going to need a cooler full of dry ice. We're going to need a hammer and a putty knife and a pair of gloves. The gloves are important. Dry ice will give you frostbite on contact. Next, you're going to need vacuum, rags, wax and grease remover and some brake clean, and a Scotch-Brite pad. So what you do is you use a Scotch-Brite to rough everything up, then you go through it with wax and grease remover and get everything cleaned up and ready for paint. Next, you're going to need Scotch tape and earplugs. I'll show you what the earplugs are for. And then you need the fun stuff. What you're going to need, you're going to need a paint tray. In this case I've put a liner in it so I don't ruin my paint tray. A roller with one of these really super high build kind of mesh rollers on it. Some paint brushes. Some reusable or disposable containers. And of course you're going to need your rock guard or bed liner. Okay, so here's the victim. As you can see, we've taken out all the interior trim all the way around. We've pulled the wiring harness up off the ground. That's important because the dry ice will damage the insulation on the wire. So anywhere near where you're doing that, any plastics, any wires, you need out of there so they don't get damaged. You're going to want to tape over these frost plug holes, or the drain holes. You could leave the plugs in, but the dry ice is going to make them super brittle, and you probably don't want to damage them. Okay, so your first step to actually removing this stuff is to put your dry ice on it. And basically you just have to sit here and wait for a few minutes for it to cool everything off enough. So the idea here is to just use the dry ice to get sound deadening really cold and brittle, and then you basically hit it with a hammer. It comes right off and breaks up. Any stubborn pieces, you can use the hammer and the putty knife.
A few moments later.
So as you can see, we've got all our sound deadening off, both out of the back and out of both footwells. So your next step is Scotch-Brite. Now this is the same as the green stuff your mom has in the kitchen. The only real difference is the red is a bit more coarse, and it's really commonly used in body shops for prepping for paint over something that's already been painted. So you rub everything down until you can see it's got this nice haze on it, and then you move on.
A few minutes later.
Now that you're a sweaty mess and everything's Scotch-Brited where you're going to paint, the next phase, what you need for this is your bag of rags and wax and grease remover. Now this you'll find at any body supply store. This is what body shops will use before they do paint. And you have to use it because otherwise your stuff just won't stick. So now we get to wipe all this down. Okay, so now for the part with the earplugs. All these holes, the threaded holes for your seat. Well, you don't want paint in them. So, earplugs. Squish them down like you normally would to put them in your ear. Shove them in the hole. They expand. And then you just let them stick out a little bit. And then you don't have to worry about getting paint in your hole and gooping up your threads. Nice and easy. Just like that. And you just leave them sticking out a bit. Easy. You should definitely use a fan for this part. The fumes off this stuff are nasty. Alright guys, as you can see, we're done putting the rocker line or bed liner on. So all I used is a 3-inch roller with this on it, and I just cut it into sections. So what that is, it's there's going to be other brands, but that's what it is. It's a extra textured deck over roller cover. Basically, it's just made so it's got a light foam on there, and it just holds a lot of material. And I find that style of roller gives a really nice texture. So we're gonna peel all the masking off here and let it dry, and we'll get you some glamour shots. We accidentally scratched it, but we've touched it up now.